Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Look, baby, there's a documentary right now about America's Next Top Model. It's called Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, and a lot of people are talking about it because there were some things that we didn't know. We know that Tyra Banks, the legendary supermodel, well, she had came under fire because they said there was a lot of problematic things on the show. Look, I saw America's Next Top Model since the beginning. I loved it. It's legendary, groundbreaking. I actually went on an audition to be on America's Next Top Model. I had shared that story, and people came down hard on Tyra Banks. You know, Tyra Banks is legendary. She's a legendary Black American supermodel. To me, she's like one of the last real Black American supermodels in the game. And she changed a lot of things. You know, when she was on the Sports Illustrated magazine cover, she had made history. Okay, a lot of people have given Tyra Banks her flowers. She got into acting, and she did something that a lot of supermodels were not doing when she created America's Next Top Model, and it was revolutionary. It was. And I'm not saying it was 100% perfect, but during that time when you watch reality TV, there's always going to be a little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama. It is a show. And there were things that we saw now is coming out that it wasn't all of what we knew. You know, when it comes to Shandi and SA, we thought that she cheated on her boyfriend. Now it's coming out it was something different. And look, the contestants talked about Tyra Banks, and well, it wasn't always pretty. And my thing is, before I show you these video clips, Tyra Banks, look, the modeling industry is not for the weak. It never was. What happened on that show doesn't even compare to the reality of the industry a lot. A lot of models can't even eat. I've heard of them having to suck on cotton balls with soup on it just to suck on the cotton ball and have something to eat. The modeling industry is not kind to a lot of women. They are very blunt and direct to your face, and they will not hire you. Okay, so I think some people need to get out of La La Land when it comes to certain things, because it is not easy. They are not always nice in that industry, okay? And to me, there were a lot of things, photo shoots that looked like a lot of fun. Now people are trying to criticize it. Oh, you dress somebody up as a different nationality. Oh my God, it's so bad. How could you do that? And all of that. So personally, I think that some people have overblown parts of the show that wasn't that damn serious to throw a fit over, and they want to act like Tyra Banks is the worst woman in the industry when, baby, it's worse than her, who actually run the damn industry. And there are some parts that we can look back and reflect on it, and maybe it was a little bit problematic. Tyra Banks herself has even said recently that, you know what, some things were, you know, now that she can look back on it. But something that is pissing a lot of people off and actually shocked me is, well, Miss J. Everybody thought they were friends. They were on the show together. He actually had a stroke in 2019 or 2022. He can't walk anymore. That surprised me. And what upset so many people, he revealed that Tyra Banks has not even visited him since this happened. And that shocked me. I thought, I don't know what happens behind the scenes. Maybe they weren't as close friends as we thought. But everybody is thinking, how could you not visit him? You know, people are saying you find out who your friends are when you get sick and destitute and everything. And it surprised me. I'm surprised and shocked that Tyra has not visited him since he had that stroke. It's unbelievable, actually, and shocking. And it's rubbing a lot of people the wrong way. And they're saying Tyra is exactly who people said she is. She is a villain. That is what people are saying. But something else I wanted to add, it's always interesting to me how Tyra Banks is always the target, okay? But Janice Dickerson is a nasty person. She is a nasty lady to me. She has a stank attitude. She wasn't nice to all the contestants. She even told Eva Marcel, who became the most successful one off the franchise, she actually, as I recall, if I'm wrong, let me know, she told her that she needed to get a nose job. Eva has a thin nose, and even if she didn't, her face is perfection. but she's not a nice lady. But people keep coming for Tyra all the time. And I'm not saying that Tyra is 100% innocent, but there have been a lot of shows. It's just amazing to me. You know, people are not giving her flowers for what she created, how she opened the door. A lot of those women wouldn't even have the success they have today if it wasn't for Tyra. That's a fact. That's a fact. Okay. Eva. There have been a few more. Eva has been the most successful. There have been a couple I've seen on commercials and modeling. Tyra Banks is the reason that show opened the door for them. And yes, some of them had issues as well, which you will see in the documentary. I'm not saying multiple things cannot be true at once, okay? But it does seem like so many people have ganged up on Tyra, as if this wasn't an extremely successful show when it was on. It was, okay? So, and I'm not saying Tyra is perfect, but look, after finding out about Miss J, people are saying, oh, she is not who we thought she was. Oh, my goodness. So let me be quiet right now. And I want you to see what people are saying about this right now, this documentary. Okay?
You are telling me that Tyra Banks edited America's Next Top Model to make it look like Shandi cheated on her boyfriend when in fact she was essayed. What's even more disheartening is the fact that we found out that America's Next Top Model production team actually filmed this happening to Shandi, and then it was totally edited out of the storyline to make her look like a legit cheater. And what's even worse is we find out from Judge Jay Manuel that they were actually going to show this clip of Shandi on America's Next Top Model until the incident with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake happened during the Super Bowl, and conditions got strict about what you could show on TV, and they actually had to hurry up and go back and edit this episode of America's Next Top Model. The thing that drives me nuts about the situation is we hear Tyra say pretty much nothing about the situation, except she wasn't part of the production team that filmed this happening, but she was a part of the editing team that made it look like Shandi was just a downright cheater. Shandi says on this documentary that she wanted to reach out to her boyfriend to tell him what happened, and at first they would not give her a phone to do it, and then she finally told them that she was just ready to leave America's Next Top Model, and then they decided to give her a phone to call her boyfriend, but they said we have to record it. Tyra was even playing it off. We see in clips in the documentary after this happened, the next day, Tyra brought up cheating right in front of Shandi and then literally said, Shandi, you cheated on your boyfriend. What makes this whole situation a little bit worse in my eyes is the fact that 4 years later, Tyra Banks nominated Shandi for her Fierce Awards that she held on the Tyra Banks Show. She would nominate Shandi under the craziest phone call and get up and bring up this whole entire situation, knowing in fact it wasn't a cheating scandal.
And it's time for the nominees to reveal what really was going on. Let's start with Shandi. Stand on up, Shandi. Oh my gosh. You know, I cannot watch enough of that. Like, and I've edited it, I've seen it a million times, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was going through your mind when you were on that phone?
Just what his reaction was going to be.
Your boyfriend, you cheated on him in Italy.
Yeah, I was like, is he going to be cussing at me? Or is he going to be like, oh, what's wrong with you? Why did you do that? Like, I didn't know if he's going to cry or just like, you know.
His response was really strong. I was actually kind of mad at him when he was like, stupid bitch. That was like kind of a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him though. Like, I probably would have.
Did you deserve it? That cuss out?
I don't know.
No.
Even though Tyra didn't film this, like she says in this documentary, the fact that she had her hands into editing it and knowing the backstory behind it makes it just as worse. And this is some of the issues that I have with America's Next Top Model. Yes, back then, reality TV was totally different and it was downright crazy. There were a lot of things that were happening on America's Next Top Model that we just can't shift the blame and say, well, that's because it was back then. But But y'all, let me know what you guys think about all this.
Okay, so this is actually my first time watching these video clips as well, and this surprised me too. You know, that's what we saw. I remember watching it, and she said that she cheated on the phone. Now we're finding out that they edited this and that she was essayed. From what I've heard, she was drinking. The man took advantage, and it wasn't, now she's saying it wasn't until she said she was leaving the show that they let her call her boyfriend and did all this editing and everything like that. So a lot of people, rightfully so, are upset hearing this, okay? Let's get a little bit more into it.
The people want to know what Tyra really said to Tiffany during her elimination, because what aired on ANTM was an edited version.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you?
On cycle 4 of America's Next Top Model, Tyra's infamous tirade was so bad, Jay Manuel said he wasn't even comfortable repeating some of it. The judges said it crossed the line so badly that lawyers were on set the next day.
This is not. Be quiet, Tiffany. Be quiet. That's what is wrong with you.
While Tiffany Richardson never revealed everything, she has confirmed one comment that never aired. She recalls Banks yelling at her, "You can go back to your house and sleep on the mattress on the floor with your baby," amongst other derogatory comments. It was already cruel to weaponize Tiffany's poverty and her grandmother's sacrifices. Dragging her child into it was disgusting. That wasn't tough love. That was a humiliation ritual on national television. Tyra has never truly taken accountability. She framed the moment as her frustrations being a black woman, which was a cop-out. Tyra has a history of putting other women down for the world to see. She spent an entire interview belittling Corinne Steffens for being a video girl on her talk show.
But I'm saying, but I'm talking about your rock bottom, and you hit a rock bottom where you were homeless, living in the car with your son, freezing to death, and using jackets to stay warm.
All of that was my fault.
No, but what I'm saying is, you called these guys and said, "I need some help."
Yeah.
And none of them helped you. None of them helped you.
That behavior is reflective of who she is. You can miss me with whining about how Naomi Campbell treated her, because she's clearly no better.
All right now, baby, I had to share this with you because Tiffany literally posted this just a few hours ago. Everybody's talking about it. And this is what she had to say about Tyra Banks to the whole public. She says, "Hold up, Tyra Banks. Let's keep it cute. You are a lying ass, tired ass B. You know how you treated me the whole time, off and on camera. You were a bully. You treated me like I was S and said the nastiest things about me and my son. And that's how the argument went. But you edited it to make it look like you cared. Also, F the Shade Room, F your weird A fans, and F Tyra Banks. I bet you won't sit face down. I bet you won't sit face to face with me and talk about it. Also, F my family too. Y'all don't ever defend me. I got more money and I'm helping more people than many of the top models, but that's the update that you will give, that y'all give. A damn shame. It's giving y'all trying to hate against me, my little black A, okay? Black me, okay? I hope, just let it go. It's been over 20 years. So she said that Tyra Banks is a liar. She made it look a certain way. She said nasty things about her and her son. Her family wasn't defending her. She has a career now where she's making big money, but they're not talking about it to the public. She did become something and not sitting on a mattress and all that stuff. She called Tyra Banks a hoe and said it's been over 20 years. Damn. Okay, so that's what Tiffany just had to say, okay, just a few hours ago.
The thing that really broke my heart in the America's Next Top Model Netflix documentary is the fact that Tyra Banks has not visited Miss J after he had a stroke. I was in tears at the end of this documentary when this came up because I had no idea in the clips that we were seeing of him in the beginning that this even happened to Miss J. It was absolutely heartbreaking to hear him say that I taught models how to walk and now I can't walk. But he sounds very hopeful because he does say not yet. The fact that Miss J had a stroke in 2022 and Tyra Banks still has not visited him is absolutely insane. We all know that Miss J was on this roller coaster of America's Next Top Model with Tyra since day one. He explained in this documentary how he met Tyra Banks at only 16 years old and he did help her learn how to catwalk. And this came out in the documentary after we learned the background about how Miss J, Jay Manuel, and Nigel Barker got fired from America's Next Top Model. Manuel said that he felt like this move was directed by Tyra because he felt like they needed drama for the show because their ratings were going down. They were supposed to do a press release with Tyra on how they were leaving the show, but they were going to continue to work together. And then all of a sudden, there was a leak to the media that they had been fired by Tyra. Jay and Manuel said during this time they couldn't speak out about what really happened because they were under a contract, and this is not the first time that Jay Manuel has spoke about this. After we heard from all of them about how they felt about being fired from America's Next Top Model is when it goes into Miss J's story about how Tyra has never visited him. But we have Jay Manuel and Nigel Barker who actually went to visit him while he was in the hospital. This documentary is showing Tyra and how she only cared about herself and the Tyra show's success, and she was willing to do anything to keep it successful. And this part in itself shows you it's not just the show, it seems like she's even like that in her personal life. Then at the very end of this documentary, we have Tyra coming back on and saying she's glad that people are calling her out on her bullshit because this is what is needed to make change. And then literally announces right after she says that there is going to be a season 25 of America's Next Top Model. And Danny eats at the end because right when Tyra says that, it cuts over to her and she said, "Girl, that is ridiculous. This is where we stop." Oh, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
So where do former besties Tyra and Jay stand after the America's Next Top Model doc? Everyone's been talking about the new Netflix doc on Reality Check, where both of them participated in it, but they did not speak. Jay is revealing the truth about what really happened when he exited the show and his falling out with Tyra 14 years after he exited America's Next Top Model. Jay was originally a part of the first cycle during 2003. He previously worked with Tyra as a makeup artist, so they had some sort of connection. After cycle 8, he was ready to part ways with the show, so he emailed Tyra and thanked her for everything. Jay was saying in the doc how Tyra ran to the press allegedly and leaked the fact that he was fired from the show, which he did not like that was in writing because that's not exactly how it went down. And apparently she did not respond for 3 days, the longest 3 days of his life. And when she wrote back, just 3 words, "I am disappointed." Jay thought there'd be an opportunity to have a heart-to-heart with Tyra about it, but she went ghost. And he agreed to do 1 more season until they could find someone to replace him. And Tyra refused to speak to him when the cameras were off. And cycle 9 was torture for him. And Tyra was asked in the doc what she thinks and what's her side of the story, and she said she's not going to discuss it on camera. She would talk to him privately. But then he's like, "I never got the phone call." Apparently they did have somewhat of a casual conversation at BeautyCon in 2017 when they ran into each other. But what the hell? She won't talk to him? He's still open to a conversation because he honors what they have. But like, how is she just going to ghost him without any accountability or conversation or closure when they had a serious, real working relationship? Tyra ended up moving to Australia and starting an ice cream empire. I think this is crazy and they should talk. And if America's Next Top Model is coming back for cycle 25 with Tyra, like, how are they not going to include Miss J and Jay and Nigel?
I see people saying like, "Oh, how is it that somebody was on America's Next Top Model and then they weren't booked and busy after?" The worst part about this entire debacle is that Tyra and the producers did all that stuff to those girls knowing that they would never be booked after that. You have to understand that the reality stars of today have social media to redeem themselves after they show up on these reality TV shows. Now you can be a reality star and then like continue your career. Back then there wasn't any of that. Whatever reputation you came with from your reality TV show to the next job that you were trying to book, that is what people were judging you off of. Because reality TV at the time was not what it is now. Before Baddies and Jersey Shore and Keeping Up with the Kardashians, it was considered trash TV. It was, even after that, it was considered trash TV. So imagine you have one chance at exposure, one chance for people to see you on TV, and they make you shave your head or they pull your fucking teeth out. Absolutely nobody's going to take you seriously after that.
I have a controversial opinion about this America's Next Top Model drama, and my opinion is, shut up. Because, I'm sorry, am I the only person that was alive back then? And I was like a small child when this show was on television, so I don't really know any of this except for people was offering up their left kidney to be on this show. Like, reality shows are horrible in nature. I don't know why y'all are acting like... So Tyra Banks is supposed to be righteous in the world of reality? Please! If I was Tyra Banks, I wouldn't say sorry either, because what am I sorry for? Plucking you out of a small town and putting you on television?
First of all, guillotine for everybody involved. I thought this was a cheating scandal. It hit me like the Twin Towers. I was devastated only to find out it was S.A. Guillotine recording it, editing it, and then Tyra taking credit for everything else on the show, saying she's a great editor and she's involved in the creative. But then when it's time to take responsibility for Shandi, she hits us with a "I wasn't in charge of storytelling, girl boo, by trench coat, justice for Shandi" next. Telling her she had to close her gap in order to win, jail. I hate that they took that uniqueness from her and then years later told another contestant they wanted to widen the gap. Diabolical. Obviously still a gorgeous gorgeous girl either way, but I hate they told her that she needed to permanently change her teeth in order to make it in the industry. Next, jail ×2, because what do you mean you had her do a photo shoot where she was capped in the head, knowing her mother had been a victim of similar violence and was permanently disabled because of that? Jail. Next, first of all, please post the eyebrow tutorial ASAP. Also, it's crazy that this is what they consider big back then. I know this was 20 plus years ago, but even then people were saying that pushing a size 000 and having these girls stay teeny tiny by surviving off of cigarettes and ice cubes should stop. Next, Miss J. Number one, this interview took me out. So much was spoken in the unspoken. I know they wanted to call the producers and the higher ups everything but a child of God. And of course, it is hard to see Miss J like this. But one thing about it, Miss J, come on, Silk Press. Okay, hair done, inch trim. This is what I want to see. And you will walk again. And more importantly, no matter what, you will always be the queen of the runway, Miss J. What did y'all used to say back then? Fierce. And Tyra, I know you thought you gagged with this. And I will say, I was definitely taken aback. I mean, I guess they're trying to reheat these nachos because the last truly popular season was well over 10 years ago. I'm talking well over, like by 2010, it was pretty much a wrap for the majority of the audience members on this show. So I guess now they're going to bring it back. But first, Miss Trenchcoat, okay, you and your beautiful, gorgeous, very laid, very well done lace front, you will have to be put on trial for your war crimes.
Now, Tyra Banks, you bold as hell to announce that you coming out with another season of Top Model after this documentary. You basically said, I'm sorry, this was y'all experiences and I offended you, but Cycle 25 is coming soon. That was basically a slap in those ladies' faces. Not only that, as I was watching, I'm like, Tyra Banks kind of not taking accountability for some of the situations because she was like, I don't remember. Oh, that happened? Oh, I don't know. I wasn't part of production. What you mean you wasn't part of production? Baby, you are the executive producer of the show. Not only that, your production company is a part of the show. So what do you mean you're not part of production? But I gotta be honest, I do understand both sides because at the end of the day, this is a reality show first. So I have a boss I have to please who's the head of the network, and then I have y'all, the viewers, that I have to please. So every week, I'm gonna make sure I'm bringing in those numbers. Every week, I'm gonna make sure my ratings are high. So of course, I'm gonna play it up for the cameras. Of course, I'm gonna do some outrageous stuff to entertain y'all cause I got bills to pay. I got a job to do. It's not my fault that y'all didn't read those contracts, and it's not my fault that y'all was acting a fool on camera and you mad because we televising it. Of course. Not only that, we are several cycles in, so you should know what you're getting yourself into. I can understand if this was the first 2 to 3 seasons, but after the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th seasons, you already know what you're signing yourself up for. You already know these judges are about to body shame you and talk to you crazy. It's the same thing with Zeus. You know what you're getting yourself with Zeus. So why is you complaining? You know you got to get your ass whooped. And with that being said, I do believe a line should have been drawn somewhere. Like when it comes to SA, people getting touched on inappropriately. And when you going to the dentist and getting your teeth pulled out and they making gaps in your teeth and they talking down on your race and telling you trying to be hard to be black even though you are black, I think that's when you start crossing the extreme line. And there was one situation that had me like, it was the girl. Her name was Danielle. Danielle said that it was very hard for her to book jobs because of the show. After the show, people viewed her as a reality star, so it was hard for her to go to castings. So she said 15 years later, she had a phone call with Tyra Banks. And Tyra Banks said, I knew that there were doors that you couldn't get into, and I did nothing to help. You could have kept that BS to yourself. You could have kept that BS to yourself. You mean to tell me you waited 15 years to tell me that you saw me struggling and you did shit? You ain't do shit to help? Run me my fade. Now, do I think Tyra Banks is an evil person? I'ma just say she does what any other producer of a reality show does. They produce entertainment. So you can take that however you want. But I'm curious to know how y'all felt about this docuseries. Did y'all like it? Do y'all feel like they left some stuff out? Do you want to know more? Like, what's y'all thoughts?
Nobody is having a worse week than Tyra Banks. Not only is she trending after appearing in the America's Next Top Model Netflix documentary, it appears karma has arrived at her front door and she's being sued for $2.8 million. You see, Tyra Banks thought the Netflix documentary would somehow clear her name, but after hearing a contestant admit she was assaulted while filming the show and no one did anything about it, Tyra is looking worse than ever. And as bad as all of this sounds, that's not where the former supermodel problems end, because Tyra is also being sued for millions. You see, outside of all of the America's Next Top Model drama, Tyra moved to Australia back in 2023 and started an ice cream brand called Smize and Dream, which she later brought to Washington, D.C. and signed a lease with a D.C. landlord in 2024. However, Tyra and her boyfriend/investor Louis Belanger Martin decided to go with another location in Northwest D.C., and now the landlord is suing them for $2.8 million and laid out 6 counts against Tyra Banks and her boyfriend, including breach of contract.
All right, everybody. So that is it so far with the video clips. I'm going to watch this on Netflix, okay? I definitely want to see this, but I'm not saying that Tyra was perfect or that the show was always perfect. You know, I had watched it since it first came out, and, you know, later down the line, I didn't watch all of the seasons, but I can tell you, okay, watching this model right here, Danielle, it sounds like she's blaming Tyra in a way. Like, what do you want Tyra to do about other companies not wanting to hire you? How is that her fault? Okay? Because you were on a reality TV show. People have to understand something. Let's keep it all the way real. Tyra is a black model. There is still hierarchies and racism in modeling. Tyra Banks does not hold the power of that industry, despite what she did, and it was groundbreaking. What do you want Tyra to do? Seriously, and I'm not saying that to not be understanding or mean. Was she supposed to call up every company you went to get a job and say, hire you? What kind of power do you think Tyra has when there are people higher than her? Higher than her. Look, I'm not saying I can't feel her pain. I have heard of this when you're on certain TV shows. It can hurt you. And look, she said Tyra eventually spoke to her years later saying she knew she was having issues. I don't know. The most I can think of is Tyra Banks making a public statement like, stop treating some of these women a certain way. This was a serious show. These were serious women doing modeling. They have what it takes, and give them an opportunity. Maybe she could publicly say that. But when you go off that show and you're in the real world and you have your photos and you go for these jobs, whoever is in control of doing the hiring, they have an option to hire you or not hire you. Tyra Banks cannot call every single person and demand that they hire you. First of all, do they want to hire you? Okay. You also do have designers who say, oh, we're not having a black model this season. I've been hearing that for years, and I find it disgusting. I find it disgusting. Now, lately, you've seen a little bit of changes with that, but racism in the industry is a real thing. It does exist where there are certain designers, high fashion designers, who will say, oh, we're not doing black model this season. I also said there is discrimination against black American women in modeling. For the past 15 to almost 20 years, you have primarily been seeing African black women from the Sudan at large being booked and busy. That is great for them, but black American women, yeah, some of them get hired and get jobs, but they don't get pushed and everything. There, in my opinion, there is discrimination. Whenever we talk about the great models from the past, they're always from the 1980s and 1990s. Baby, it's 2026. I need you to come on now. We know we can't really name any black American women who have really been pushed in the industry. Okay, there's a lot that Tyra Banks cannot publicly say, okay, that goes on behind the scenes. I mean, she has said it a little bit in Naomi Campbell. It is a real thing, and I'm sorry that happened to Danielle, but I don't understand how some people can make it sound. I'm not saying she did, but from what I saw, it kind of felt like she was implying that, oh, it's Tyra's fault that I couldn't get a job because, you know, oh, you knew I couldn't get hired. What do you want her to do to make another person's company hire you? That's scouting for models and stuff. I mean, to me, the most she could do is make a public statement. Don't discriminate against them. This was a real show. These women are serious about modeling and everything. So, okay. Also, I'm going to keep it real. I'm not here to say that Tyra was perfect because it is a reality TV show, keyword TV show, that did give these women opportunities, a number of them. But I knew when Nick Pace did not win That's when I knew it was some BS going on. She was supposed to win. Most people feel this way. Who they let win. You see, you had Eva Marcel. I don't know. I think someone in more power than Tyra Banks. I think they wanted to make America happy. The woman that they chose to win was not successful on any level. She was not as good looking as Nick Pace. She didn't walk as good. She couldn't hold a candle to Nick Pace, and everybody knew it. Everybody knew it. Okay. I forgot where she was from. I don't know. I don't know why they picked her. Some people said it was because she was white and they didn't want to have too many black women winning. They had to keep every race and make everybody happy. I don't know for sure. But what I do know is that Nick Pace was screwed over. She was supposed to win that season. And most people will tell you that because it's the truth. And I don't know if they were playing into politics and all types of stuff when they let that other woman win, because she was not supposed to win. Nick was. And that's how I feel. And everybody, most people feel that way, a good portion. So look, that is it for this video. I want to know, how do you feel about this? Do you feel that this is going to affect Tyra Banks' legacy, her legacy as one of the greatest Black supermodels in history, Black American supermodels in history? Do you feel like this tarnishes her legacy and what she built? What she built, what she was able to do. You know, again, her not visiting Miss J, so many people, rightfully so, are disgusted hearing that. It's shocked. So it shocked me that she didn't visit him. I'm thinking, was something going on behind the scenes? Y'all are not really friends or cool like we thought you were. He can't walk no more. It's been years and you didn't go to visit him, but Nigel did. This is crazy hearing that. People are saying, you see, Tyra is the villain, y'all. When you see something like that, that shows you who she is. Unless there was something going on that we don't know about behind the scenes. But a lot of people said they're done with Tyra. They said they see her character doing Miss J like that. They didn't like that. So, look, what do you think about this? Did you even watch America's Next Top Model when it came on? Because it was huge. Everybody, a lot of people were watching it. Like I said, I went on an audition, and it was so much fun when I went. It was crazy. I shared my story about that. I thought I was about to get picked because the lady, the casting director, looked me right in my eye, and then she chose the woman next to me. And, you know, it was it was just crazy. The atmosphere was crazy. It was so much fun, you know, so that's a memory for me. And but now we're finding out there were things we did not know that were edited. Okay. And you know, SA with Shandi and everything, and that's not cool at all. That's one thing that people are surprised about. And but overall, how do you feel about the show? Did you watch it? Do you think that Tyra still deserves her flowers? Will you be watching? She says she's coming back with the show. Is coming back. With today, the way that movie and film is with streaming and the lack of people going watching stuff, I don't even know. Even if these things didn't happen, I don't even know if it would be as successful as it was during that time. So much has changed and television has gone downhill. I don't know. And seeing this has not helped her at all. Some people probably won't even tune in. And I don't know, baby. So I just wanted to share this with you. What do you think about all of this? What do you think? Let us all know in the comments section. You all take care. Bye.